The Verdant Wonders event is almost here in Pokemon Go, and in this video I'm going to go through all of the details for the event. I'll also go through some tips including whether or not Zarude is worth getting, and I'll go through which event Pokemon are worth catching and which raids are worth raiding. So the event runs from March 21st at 10 AM until March 25th at 8 PM local time. Cottonee and Whimsicott wearing flower crowns will be making their debut, and they can be shiny. To get Flower Crown Whimsicott, you do need to evolve Flower Crown Cottonee with 50 Cottonee candies and a Sunstone. For the wild encounters we will have Bulbasaur, Oddish, Tangela, Hoppip, Poochyena, Nuzleaf, Shroomish, Cottonee wearing a flower crown, red, yellow and blue Flabébé in their respective regions, Cutiefly, and rarely Pansage, Panpour, Pansear, Zorua and white and orange Flabébé. All forms of Flabébé will be able to be shiny starting with this event. In field research will be Vulpix, Poliwag, Marill, Slugma, Flower Crown Cottonee, Pansage, Pansear and Panpour. I will be going through which wild and research Pokemon are worth focusing on later on in the video, so stay tuned for that. For the raids, in 5-star raids will be Regice up until 8 PM on the first day of the event, and then Tapu Lele will take over for the rest of the event, and it will know its legacy move Nature's Madness when caught from these raids. In Mega raids will be Mega Tyranitar up until 8 PM on the first day of the event, then Mega Venusaur will take over. I'll also be going through which raids are worth your raid passes later on in the video. So there will be a collection challenge for this event rewarding Stardust, XP and a Flower Crown Cottonee encounter, and there'll be event themed Pokestop showcases. And for $8 you will be able to purchase the special research story Rogue of the Jungle. This special research will get you 2 premium battle passes, 6 silver pinat berries, 5 rare candies, 1 incense, dark and grass type Pokemon encounters, and you'll get an encounter with Zarude. You will also get increased incense encounters if you do purchase this special research, and these encounters will be Panpour, Pansear, Pansage, Cutiefly, Flower Crown Cottonee, Zorua, red, yellow or blue Flabébé depending on your region, and rarely white and orange Flabébé. It's worth noting that this isn't a timed research, it's a special research, so once you purchase it you will be able to keep it for as long as it takes for you to finish the tasks. So these are all the details for this event. Let's go through some tips to help you make the most of it. Firstly, is it worth purchasing the Zarude special research? So the only premium items you get are 2 premium battle passes and an incense, which are worth around 240 Pokecoins, which is somewhere in the region of $2 to $3. However, the main reward from this special research is Zarude. This Pokemon has only ever been released one time in Pokemon Go in 2021 for the event that coincided with the release of the Secrets of the Jungle animated movie, and back then this Pokemon was released for free. Now it is part of an $8 special research, and to be honest it could be years before it returns to the game again. Zarude is good in Pokemon Go. It's a top 10 grass type attacker and a decent dark type attacker as well. It's also ranked 27 in the Master League. However, powering up this Pokemon does require a lot of rare candy and rare candy XL, and to be honest there are quite a few better targets to use these resources on. There is also the issue that the Zarude you get from this research may not have the IVs as good as you want. From research the IV floor is 10-10-10, but for $8 I could imagine a lot of people would be disappointed with a 10-10-10 Zarude. But it is worth noting that the difference between a 10-10-10 IV Zarude and a 15-15-15 is very small, so I wouldn't focus too much on the IVs. Having the perfect IVs only really matters if you're trying to do raids with the lowest amount of people possible in the quickest time, or for high level PvP for example. And generally for raids in particular, you would use better grass type attackers if you wanted to beat the raid faster. It is also worth noting that the increased incense spawns you can get in the wild for the event anyway. But if you are looking to maximize the amount of spawns you get for these Pokemon, then it could be worth it for you. Out of these spawns, Flabébé has the most meta relevance, but if you are hunting shinies, you may want as many encounters as you possibly can get with any of the Pokemon. But with all of this said, is it worth buying the ticket? Overall, I'd say no. In terms of meta relevance, it is a decent Pokemon, but it is replaceable by many other accessible Pokemon, so you wouldn't really be missing out that much in that respect. And to power up Zarude to use in the meta, it would require a lot of rare candy and rare candy XL to power up. The only reason I would recommend the ticket is if you're a collector that wants Zarude for the dex, or you generally just like the Pokemon and you want to buy it anyway. Zarude will most likely come back to Pokemon Go in the future, but it might take a couple of years for it to come back. But it will most likely cost money again, because it seems like most of the mythicals these days are locked behind a paywall. So Flower Crown Cottonee is debuting, and to evolve it into Flower Crown Whimsicott you will need a Sunstone, but how do you get Sunstones? So the best way to get a Sunstone is from spinning Pokestops. There is around a 1% chance that you'll get a Sunstone or another evolution item from spinning a Pokestop. So going to places with high Pokestop density and spinning them is a good method for getting them. Also, you will get a guaranteed evolution item from your 7-day Pokestop spin streak, so it's worth trying to do this every week if you can. Also, there are occasional field research or special research that will reward sunstones and other evolution items. So when it comes to maximizing candy for this event, you can always use Pinap berries to increase your candy gains, and you can Mega Evolve a Pokemon that is the same type as the Pokemon you're catching to increase the amount of candy, Candy XL, and XP you get per catch. For the maximum coverage, I recommend Mega Evolving a Grass type because it is the most frequent type spawning during this event. For this, you could Mega Evolve Venusaur, Sceptile, Abomasnow, or revert Groudon. It's also worth noting that Flabebe is one of the better spawns for the event, and if you are wanting to focus more candy and Candy XL on Flabebe, then you want to Mega Evolve a Fairy type. For this, you could Mega Evolve Gardevoir, Altaria, or Diancie. I would also recommend doing any Pokestop showcases that you see because even if you don't rank highly, you will get some XP and Stardust for completing them. And if you do happen to rank highly, you could get premium items as well. And if you're trying to place highly, keep an eye on the time the showcase finishes because some people like to change their Pokemon last minute to a higher ranking Pokemon. With that said, which wild and research Pokemon are worth focusing during this event? So Bulbasaur will be spawning and it's well worth picking up because Mega Venusaur is the third best grass type attacker and a decent poison type attacker. Mega Venusaur will be in Mega Rage during this event, so you can get Mega Energy for it if you need it. Venusaur itself is also ranked 65 in the Great League with 0, 14, 11 IVs and is ranked 53 in the Ultra League with 1, 15, 14 IVs. It's good to note that Venusaur does want its legacy move Frenzy Plant to be at its best, which would require an elite charge TM to get. Tangela is spawning and it could be worth picking up because Tangrowth in its shadow form is a top grass type attacker, so it might be worth catching some Tangler to get some candy and Candy XL to power up a shadow version if you've got one. Hoppip is also available and Jumpluff does see some play in the Great League. It's currently ranked 130 with 0, 14, 14 IVs. It does want legacy move Acrobatics to be at its best. Shroomish might be worth going after because Breloom is a decent budget fighting type attacker. Flower Crown Cottony doesn't have much meta relevance, but if you are a shiny hunter, it's definitely worth going after because there's no guarantee this costume version will return to the game in the future. Flabebe will be spawning and this is probably one of the best Pokemon to focus during this event, not only because its shiny is releasing during the event, but because Florges is a strong fairy type raid attacker and is ranked 51 in the Ultra League with 0, 14, 15 IVs, and it's ranked 28 in the Master League. In particular, it is useful in the Master League because it is a lot more accessible than a lot of the top Master League Pokemon, which are mostly legendary Pokemon. Pansage, Panpour, and Pansear don't have any meta relevance, but they are normally regional Pokemon, so the ones that don't appear in your region are well worth hunting. Zorua will be spawning, and Zoroark is a decent budget dark type attacker. It's also pretty rare outside of events, so it might be worth shiny hunting. It could be worth picking up some Vulpix from research to get candy for Alolan Ninetales because it is ranked 118 in the Great League and 104 in its shadow form, and it is ranked 103 in the Ultra League and 66 in its shadow form. Poliwag is also a good encounter because Poliwrath is strong in Go Battle League. It is ranked 47 in the Great League and 27 in its shadow form with 0, 14, 15 IVs, and in the Ultra League it's one of the best Pokemon, being ranked 10 in its shadow form and ranked 4 in its regular form with IVs of 0, 14, 14. To be at its best, it does want Counter, which is a legacy move only obtainable by Elite TM. It's also worth noting that the 10, 10, 10 IV fall from research means you would need to mirror trade with a low friendship level friend to get IVs close to the perfect PvP IVs. But it is worth noting that even without perfect PvP IVs, it is still worth using in Go Battle League. Politoed is also ranked 61 in the Ultra League with 0, 15, 14 IVs, but remember you do need a King's Rock to get Politoed. Marill is a possible field research encounter, and Azumarill is strong in the Great League, being ranked 19 with 0, 15, 15 IVs. But again, field research isn't the best place to get one with perfect PvP IVs, so keep that in mind. So these are all the wild and research Pokemon that are worth going after, but which raids are worth your raid passes? So Regice doesn't really have any meta relevance apart from the fact that it's a decent ice type attacker in its shadow form, but I wouldn't really recommend investing many passes into it unless you're hunting the shiny. Tapu Lele is currently ranked 122 in the Master League, but it will be getting its legacy move Nature's Madness when caught from these raids, which will improve its performance in the Master League, so it could be worth raiding for that reason. Mega Tyranitar is definitely worth raiding, especially if you haven't Mega Evolved a Tyranitar yet, because Mega Tyranitar is the best dark type attacker in the game, which will be especially helpful against Shadow Mewtwo raids. It's also a decent rock type attacker, and Tyranitar is ranked 92 in the Master League. Mega Venusaur will be following Mega Tyranitar, and it's worth picking up because Mega Venusaur is the third best overall grass type attacker, and Venusaur is ranked 65 in the Great League and 53 in the Ultra League. Once you have raided Tyranitar or Venusaur to get enough Mega Energy to Mega Evolve one of them, you will be able to walk any of that species that you have to get more Mega Energy. You can save some raid passes this way. So if you want to know more about other events and raids going on in this month in Pokemon Go, then you should check out these videos next.